Hi.
Hey everybody! Welcome.
Thanks.
It's Don't Worry Wednesday.
That's right.
We made it. Can you
What are
believe
you gonna
it?
do about it?
What are you gonna do about it?
Yeah, it's Wednesday. What are you gonna do about it,
What are
huh?
you gonna do about it,
Punk.
man? It's Wednesday. Oh, huh. Yeah. Well,
What is that, Elvis?
I don't know what that was.
Yeah,
How? That's Elvis,
That's
right? Is that
ZZ
Elvis?
Top. That was ZZ
Oh, that's
Top.
ZZ. Sorry, what is that?
Yeah,
ZZ
so
Top? Okay,
that's what
my
that
bad.
was. What you were
Elvis and
doing.
ZZ Top,
They're
they
kind
both
of.
got the
They
music
do.
going for them. That's
They,
all.
they both have music
They're
going for
both
'em. They're
males
both
with
like musicians. ZZ Top's like three guys with big beards.
guitars. They both guitar and sing.
Yep, they do.
Both
You're right.
rock, different forms of rock. One's
Yep.
rock and roll.
They both have glittery outfits sometimes.
Yep. They both have albums. They're both human beings.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I was trying to get at.
Oh, perfect. Good.
Mm-hmm.
So we have something in
You
common.
sound like a human being.
Dude, you have something in common with ZZ Top.
Yeah,
You're a person.
I'm a human being. Hey, everybody.
And you're a
Looks
musician.
like you found out you got something in common with ZZ Top today. Thanks for joining Don't Worry Wednesday. We hope you had a beautiful time.
See you next Wednesday.
Awesome.
No, not really. Actually, welcome everybody. It's Don't Worry Wednesday. This is the show where we handle any of your challenges, anything that you might be going through. If you have any thoughts or if you're just going through a struggle, we'd love to talk about it. This show is all about you guys. We might be up here on screen, but really the difference that gets made is right there in the chat. I'm telling you, every time I do this show and I see people posting stuff in the chat and I see stuff, the interactions happening, it's just so inspiring to me to watch you guys helping each other out. We're not professional therapists, counselors, or anything like that. We just want to help. We want to be a friend. And we want to do whatever we can to maybe offer some perspective, but mostly just some encouragement and love along the way, because a lot of times that's the most important thing we can have as we're going through a challenge. And sometimes it's crazy. Like I've been through this before many times where I'll have a friend who doesn't know anything about what's going on, maybe what I'm going through that day, what I'm going through that week, whatever, but they're just willing to be my friend. And the fact that they're there is so infinitely helpful. And that's what we want to be for you guys. We want to be your friend. We want to offer you some perspective. So if you have a topic, you can feel free to post it in the chat. You can feel free to send us an email, dww@bss.studio. You can send it to our website, bss.studio. We'll see. Let me see if I can find the link to that, actually.
Princess has it.
She
got it.
does. She does. Did she get it
Thanks,
up there?
Princess. Uh-huh.
Oh man, perfect. Thank you, Princess. So yeah, Princess is our what? She has a title now. She's our manager person.
Communications manager.
Yes, that's the one. Communications manager. Thank you. And she's really just she's the Joe and Ryan manager, because like she manages to deal with us.
Ha. Funny.
And
Nice.
yes, I'm Joe, and above me in the appropriate position, Static the P, Ryan, right there.
Yep.
How you doing, Ryan?
Great. How you doing?
I'm fantastic. I'm glad to be back. Yes, I
Yeah.
appreciate you. Who said welcome back, Joe? Somebody said Joe, you're back. Oh, Ash Ride. Yep. Last week I spent some much overdue time with my brother. He's going through some pretty big challenges, and I don't get a whole lot of time to spend with him. He was in town for one day, and I hadn't seen him.
Wow.
We figured it out. I hadn't seen him in person in almost 2 years.
No way.
Yep,
Wow.
almost 2 years. And so it was yeah, we spent a lot of time together that day, talked about a lot of stuff. It was great. So, but I really missed you guys here on the show, and I'm glad to be back. So, yeah.
Yeah, when you're starting out the show, you said something really important. You guys talking in the chat, is really important.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason, I mean, there's a lot of different reasons for it, and I don't want to make anybody feel like they're on the spot when they're talking in the chat from now on. But one of the things is when you guys talk in the chat, it compels the community forward, because now you're participating in bringing goodness into the world.
Mm-hmm.
Doing that brings about more healing than listening to us. I swear. If you can just sit there and listen to us about your problem, it will help. But if you start in the chat trying to help other people with their problems, you'll find that that starts to like just make your life I don't know, somehow it seems to help you solve all your problems almost.
Mm-hmm.
It makes it so that you aren't so caught up in your own problems and you stop worrying about them, but also it breathes life into you and it allows you to have the right mentality going forward to solve your own problems, because now you're putting out that good and you just kind of, not like quite like karma, but similar, like you start to receive it from yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, participating in the chat is super awesome, super helpful, not just to us and to other people that you're trying to help, but also to you, because it just continues to spread that good community that we've got going on.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. That, man, you couldn't have expressed that any better, I don't think. That was wonderful.
Yeah.
Because it is so true. I mean, yeah, Ryan and I have said many times on this show, this is kind of therapeutic for us because, we get to help, in whatever way we possibly can. I mean, it's limited because we're on a live stream, we're not there with you, we're not face to face with you, but hey, we get to hang out and offer some encouragement, and it's really, really cool. So those of you who are doing that in the chat, thank you. Those of you who aren't, man, feel free at any time. Just jump right in. We're going to love you. Yeah, yep. That's one of the beautiful things about the community that's here. You're going to be surrounded by love around here. So, and just no matter what you are, no matter who you are, we'll love you. So, anyway, what do you think? We got some topics lined up, I think, don't you?
Yeah, we do.
All right. So let's take a look here. I will go down the list here. We have some people, I think, who we could do these whether they're here or not. But I'm going to go down the list and see if any of you guys are here. The list is Ian Lam, Pear, Lil McGee, Ezekiel Games, Ploin, Dracon, Lord Francium, Kendra, and LG. And if you guys heard your name, let us know. Just give us a something in the chat, some kind of emoji. Which is the one? Is emoji?
Okay, I'll answer this with a comment right here. Rico just used an emoji.
That's an emoji. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
An emoticon is the one like the heart or the smiley face that Ash Ride used up above.
Yep.
Okay.
Think about it this way. The Greeks had icons. The icons were pictures.
Okay.
And in Japanese, where they developed emoji, G means character. So it's comprised of characters.
Uh-huh.
So if you remember, icon is picture. Like, you go to a Catholic church and you see those icons. They're just paintings, but they're really kind of, well, they're Greek, so they're a little bit weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah. So emote icon and emote icon. G.
All right. Cool. Thank you.
Yeah.
Ryan just
everybody else in the chat
problem.
room. Apple will tell you the opposite, but
Apple's
makes
wrong.
no sense.
Apple's
wrong.
usually wrong
kind
about most things.
Misunderstood and went with
Sorry,
it.
That was
mean. Apple is not wrong about all things. They
no,
just
that's true.
were wrong when they labeled their things on that.
Yes. So it looks like we have Ash in here as well. Ash Ride has a topic. Boy, had a bunch posted last week. Must be because your brother was here.
Yeah. Must have been.
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's awesome. All right, cool.
Well, yeah,
so, if Ash is here and there's a topic,
let's do it.
Let's start there, and then we'll move on. So, how about
that link?
How about them apples? Huh?
Check out that link. That's pretty cool.
What link?
The link for the thing. It doesn't show it, but towards the end it says ash-ride -socializing troubles. So that's it's cool. Like this. I was surprised to see like 3 lines in a row.
That looks pretty cool.
Tilde is the correct term for that character. I said
that's a
squiggle,
tilde.
but I always call it a squiggly line, but it's a tilde.
The squiggle, tilde.
Yeah.
Yeah, I recently learned on Discord that if you're on your phone and you wanna write a message in Discord and like strike it, put a strike through it.
Oh yeah, you put squiggles on
you
either
put
side?
2 on each side. You have to
two
put
on each side.
2 on each side. And I was like, oh, that's very interesting. But I figured it out and it worked. And I was like, I did something that worked.
Nice.
It's like a win.
You know when you hold shift and you press squiggle, right? It does a different character?
No, because you have to hit shift to make it do the squiggle. I'm looking at my
sorry.
keyboard right
If
now.
you do, I meant to say without the shift.
Without the shift?
You do the shift to make the squiggle, right?
Without
if you
the
do
shift,
it without
it's
the
that.
shift. Yeah. Do you know what that thing's called?
It's a backwards apostrophe.
No. Close though. No, not close.
What is it?
It's called. It's grave. It's a grave mark.
Oh.
But it's spelled Grav, so it could be grav.
Mm-hmm.
It's Italian, and they use it in their words, and we don't use it in ours. But it's the mark that goes above certain characters. It's a dash.
Oh yeah.
You've seen it.
Yeah. Oh
Or
yeah.
usually above an O or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Accent grave, as opposed to accent aigu. I learned that in French.
Yeah. Oh yeah, they use it in French too, don't they?
Yeah.
Yeah. Grave.
But it's grave because
because it's French, so they have a instead of an they have
right. Yeah, and they don't they don't flutter their tongue like in Espanol. It's like
they're not from Spain.
I'm like, that's a very interesting R. But
yeah,
hey man,
hey,
it's cool. It clears your throat right there.
It actually sounds cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's do Ash's topic.
Let's do it. The link is there in the chat. You guys can feel free to click it and read along with Princess. Uh-oh. Did she leave?
No.
Oh, okay. I was like...
But I wasn't actually quite prepared. Also, I did miss Anonymouses, and I apologize.
Oh, it's okay. We can keep on talking.
Yeah, we can talk forever, actually. You know us.
Yeah,
that would go Ryan. We just hit the start button on Ryan.
I can't quite French very well.
I can't
my French is very poor. Princess actually is probably the best French of us all here.
I would probably vote for Princess too.
Yeah.
I can have a somewhat Parisian accent when saying my French.
Parisian.
Ooh, so you're like
As
exotic
Ollie
French.
would mention.
Paris.
I don't sound
Paris.
Paris.
Oh, I was thinking
Bonjour, comment ça va?
Yeah. See?
Yeah.
So can you read the topic with a French accent?
Oh gosh, please don't. For the sake of Ash and everybody else, please don't. I would love you to if it was not something that was sensitive. But because the topic is maybe sensitive, it's probably not a good idea.
I'm sorry. That was a bad idea. Ash, please forgive me. I love you.
Yeah. You're actually starting to learn French, Rick? That's awesome, Rika.
French is cool.
It is. All right. We ready to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, I think we are.
All right.
Sorry about that. And I will also get the other thing to you in a moment.
How you talk in a British accent? I do a little bit too.
Which one?
In a while.
Can't say a couple of them.
Water.
Water? Or water?
Yeah.
Or water? Like it depends on where in Britain you're from.
It does.
English.
There are
UK.
Well, it's like American English. It depends on where you're from.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
feel attacked.
No. Becca, we love you.
What?
Yeah.
Becca is British.
British, yeah.
Oh,
that he's
sorry.
joking that he feels attacked.
I must need to refresh my YouTube. My chat is coming through really slow. Hold on a second.
Oh.
I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do that real quick, and then hopefully it'll be all good. All right.
Ash, I can relate to that, especially if I'm listening to other people that speak with an accent. I will accidentally start speaking in that accent, and I'm like, oh, geez, I don't mean to offend you. I just pick up on other people's accents and start doing it on accident all the time.
Yeah, like the Boston accent for D&D.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
My Boston accent's not the greatest, but it's
I'm
fun
gonna
to do.
start sleeping everyone into it.
Yeah, suddenly, I start speaking with a Boston accent. The next thing you know, every character has a Boston accent.
Oh my.
Anyway.
Well, before we offend anybody else,
Mhm.
we've already offended half of you guys, I think. But what do you say? Good?
Yes.
All right.
So,
Cool.
this is Socializing Troubles from Ash. Hello, I've been gone for quite a bit, but I'll try to be more present. I'm really excited for school to start back up, but I'm also really nervous. I've grown apart from most of my friends during this quarantine as well. I'm just really nervous about going back to school because I feel like it's going to be much harder and I'll have to relearn socializing skills. I used to be really shy in elementary, then less in middle school, but with high school, it seems like this year has made me less open and more shy. I'm in a class with one of my friends named Simon. I was in the class with him for the whole year, yet we didn't start talking until about a month ago. Also, I think when I go back to in person class, I'm going to be really stressed out and anxious. I think this is because I haven't really talked to anyone in a year. The only way I've talked to people is through an online format. I'm not used to talking to people out loud anymore, even my boyfriend Cadence. I email him. I don't really talk to him on Zoom or FaceTime or anything like that. I don't know if this makes sense, and I'm sorry if it doesn't. Basically, what I'm trying to say is that I'm really nervous to go back in person school because I think it's going to be too much for me. Not just all the people, but having to actively socialize. From Ash.
Mm. Wow, I sure can relate to this topic. I am naturally an introvert. It's actually, one of the greatest parts about doing Don't Worry Wednesday is that, I'm sitting here in my house, and there's nobody around me. It's kind of cool. And, I get to hang out with you guys, but I really like being alone. And for the longest time of my life, I was incredibly socially awkward. I had to learn a lot in order to be able to have the confidence to talk to people face to face, to look people in the eye, to ask questions of people. There was just so much awkwardness um, in my social life for so much of my life that it was a real struggle. And so I definitely feel your pain, Ash. And thank you so much for this topic, because I think there are probably many people out there that struggle with this same thing. Um, Man, we're either introverts or extroverts, and I think we're broken. We're about like halfway down. Broken in was it equal halves of people that are introverted and people that are extroverted, and so it can be a tough challenge. So my heart goes out to you, and I'm looking forward to what Ryan has to say, because he has some of the greatest examples of how he overcame his own social uh, stuff that he grew up with. So I'm going to turn it over to Ryan, and he'll handle it well. So Ryan, take it away.
Well, thanks, Joe. Thanks for putting confidence in me. I was very comfortable socializing online. When I was 14, um, I got really kind of hooked to the internet and started talking to everybody on the internet. Of course, computers weren't. People started having computers mostly around the world, but it was still relatively a new thing, and things were different. But um, everyone's got a computer now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everybody's online and talking. And for me, it was interesting because I was making friends online, and nobody else in my school was. I was making friends online, and the people that were doing the same thing in my school, if anybody, they were always their parents were very unaccepting of it. Like, that's not safe. Who knows who could be on the other end of that, blah blah blah. And my mom was always very trusting of my judgment on that sort of thing, which was awesome.
Mm-hmm.
So I was very blessed to have my mom's respect in that regard. She never feared about the relationships I was making online, which was cool. But one thing that I discovered was that I was a lot more social online than I was in real life. It was a lot easier to talk to people through text. And in fact, there was a very long period of time where I was far more willing to talk to people through typing to them than I was out loud. When they started coming out with um, speech based programs like Skype and Discord, where you can join a chat room and talk a lot, um, I still was like, no, I'm going to stick to typing. That's just what I do. It's a lot easier. It's a lot more comfortable, blah, blah, blah. Right. And so that was kind of like my situation. So I can relate to you when it comes to socializing. Like, I never got stuck out of school for a long time, but when I was in school, I didn't talk a whole lot to anybody, anyways, because I'm an introvert and I was shy, I suppose. It wasn't more, I think that it wasn't that I was shy. I was just afraid to say anything because I didn't want to stand out. I
Mm.
didn't, I assumed that if I stood out, everyone would look down on me, right? I thought a lot of people didn't like me. And so I kind of scared myself into being antisocial because I was afraid. So basically, one day I was thinking to myself, I have, I at this point, I had been playing, games and stuff online and talking to people, and it had been like 2 years since I started. And I realized, like, hey, I have like literally like 100 plus friends online. I'll go online and I'll have people talking to me right away, and I will talk to them no problem. And I will be a silly goofball online. And I was like, how come in on the internet I have all these friends and all these people that I get along with, I don't mind socializing with, we're great. A lot of people really like me on the internet. Like, what's going on? Because in real life I don't have barely any friends. So, what's different? And I realized what's different is me.
Mm.
It wasn't the people at my school that were different, that they were unaccepting, because there were plenty of unaccepting people online. Um, it was that I was different. I realized that online I felt more comfortable talking to people, right? I felt like no one was judging me. Or if they were to judge me, it didn't matter, right? While in school, I worried if they judged me. I thought that for some reason they could hurt me more. Or, my reputation would go down and then everyone would treat me in a bad way. But I recognized I had a social environment online too. When I played the game, there was a certain amount of people and we all knew each other and we conversed every single day. And so it was basically the same thing. Ultimately, the difference was that in one setting, I was afraid, and in the other setting, I wasn't. And so I had to go to the setting where I was afraid and start overcoming that fear. I forced myself to go to, like, I was at the time I was like, the person I look up to the most is my online self. And the character's name was Black Static. And so I would pump myself up when I would go into school. I was like, I need to start acting like Black Static. I need to start acting like I do online to the people around me. And so I had to force myself to be active in communicating with people. It was hard, but I would just keep on telling myself, like, hey, you know who I am? I'm Black Static. And then I would go and I'd be like, that's right, I am. And then I would just go and do the thing, right? Because I had proven myself. I had already proven myself, right? I've seen the results of Black Static, so I can do that. I know that it's going to work. All I have to do is make contact with people and be willing to overcome my fear by action and just talk to them. It started out with, mostly just approaching people while they were sitting down and striking up a conversation. And I was like, this is super scary and I'm super nervous, and it's going to be super awkward, but I'm going to do it anyways. And then I did it and it wasn't that awkward. It was a little awkward, but you know what? Just embrace the awkward. It will pass and you will reap more out of it if you embrace it, you know? And then other parts were just me looking at people and figuring out what I can compliment them on. And so I would, just compliment people and let that open up a conversation. Like, hey, I like your pants. They'd be like, oh, thanks. And I would say, where do you get them? And they're like, oh, I don't know, my mom bought them for me. And be like, that makes sense, And if the conversation went somewhere, awesome. If the conversation didn't, that was totally fine. I could add something like, yeah, I don't know, maybe I'm weird, but I look at people's pants and I kind of say, oh, I think a lot of people don't give any credits to pants, but I think pants are a really cool part of the outfit. They and people would go, yeah, that's why I bought them. Like, these are really great. That's why I like these too. I think they work well with a lot of different shirts and blah, blah, blah. Maybe it opens up a conversation, right? So when it comes to being nervous at school, going back and having to communicate with people and socialize, I totally understand that it can be nerve-wracking. But as soon as you start to do it, your nerves will calm down, right? You're going to have that fear, but the more you linger on your fear, the more nervousness and fear will accumulate. But the faster you act against it, the faster you knock that fear down. Because Ash, you're a wonderful person, right? And you're a joy to talk to. So you shouldn't have any fear talking to people, right? If you start to talk to someone and it doesn't go well, that's fine. That happens to everybody. It happens to the most famous people in the world and the least famous people in the world. The best at communication and the worst at communication. It doesn't matter where you're from. We all hit dead ends in our conversations. Sometimes they just smack us right in the face like, oh, wow, that was a really short conversation. It doesn't mean they don't like you. It's just how the conversation went, And sometimes you'll start up a conversation and you'll be like, wow, I didn't realize this guy was going to talk so much. I need to figure out how to get out of this because I have a class to go to and he won't stop. That's going to happen to you.
Yep.
It's all right.
It's true.
Joe knows what that is.
It's true.
We encounter those situations in our workplace sometimes. But anyways, I will leave you with one final comment, and that's this. And I've said it many times. This was something that I learned, and then I put a wording to it. I made a quote about it, but it's something I learned and forced myself to act out. And through forcing myself to act out this quote, it changed everything for me when it came to socializing, because it gave me a tactical way to go about it. It gave me a guideline by which I can socialize, a guideline which I can use for my conversations, a guideline which I can use for my body language, a guideline which I can use for guiding a conversation, right? And that's this. What matters most is not what you look like to others, right? So don't try to pretend to be someone awesome. You're not impressing anybody. No matter how awesome you are, you don't impress people by your conversation about when you talk about how good you are, right? You barely don't. Usually people are impressed by you when you don't talk about those things, right? Usually people are impressed by you when you are impressed by them. If you show them that you're impressed by them, they become impressed by who you are. It doesn't work the other way around usually. So the quote goes like this: it doesn't matter what you look like to others. What matters is what others look like to themselves when you're around them. So when you're around people, spend time making them feel good about themselves. Find the things that are important to them and make them feel good about them. Let them know where they're doing a good job. Let them know that you find joy in being around them. The point is, you think about your best friends in your life. Those are the people that make you feel good about who you are when you're around them, are they not? When you feel joyful, when you feel like, hey, I feel like $1 million when I'm around that person, right? That's a phrase. I hope that phrase is still used today. When you feel like $1 million, right? When you feel like $1 million around another person, you want to be around that person more often. And soon enough, that person becomes a close friend, right? So make other people feel like $1 million. And the way to do that is not to show off. The way to do that is to make them feel good about who they are. So find out who they are and make them feel good about it. And that will make for easy socializing. That will take your socializing skills to a level beyond everybody else in your school. Because that is one of the best things for socializing you can ever aim for and act out in your life. So with that, I'm going to move it over to Joe and see what he's got to say.
Well, that was beautiful, Ryan. And I was just trying to think of how am I going to follow this, because you've really kind of nailed so many so many things.
Nail them all in harder.
Man, oh man. I'm like, okay,
Just
covered that, he covered that, he covered that, he covered that. I'm like, okay, well, what do I have to cover left? And I think no, it's perfect. It was really concise and wonderful. And so you would do well, Ash, and anyone else who's struggling with this, to go back and listen to what Ryan just had to say, because that is so real and so true. I think one of the things, well, first of all, I saw Ash, you have some comments in the chat. Say kind of how I got all my friends, I feel like, is because I forced myself to talk to people. I never really wanted to, but I felt like I had to because I don't like being alone. And then looks like you were responding to some stuff about German, learning German and stuff. Also, that's one of my main flaws. I try to change my personality to better fit my friends. Last year, I was such a freaking jerk to one of my close friends because my other friends didn't like him, and I feel absolutely horrible about it still. And I would feel horrible about that too, for sure, because I mean, but when we're trying to fit in, I understand why you did it, because I've done it to try and fit in. In fact, it's crazy, you know, like I have close friends and family members sometimes, and when you're trying to fit in with them, you'll kind of change your personality a little bit. And what happens is you're no longer yourself. And you know, the interesting thing about when you try to change who you are to fit who you're hanging around, they're not really satisfied with that either. Like, really, that's kind of how it goes. Like, you don't really impress them by, you know, going along. Like, if you can be confidently yourself, that's going to be the best move. For one, because even if they did start to like you and accept you more because you changed your personality, they're liking and accepting it's not you they like and accept. It's that facade that you're putting forth, right? That's what they like. And so then when you come out of the woodwork, the real you comes out, then they're like, who is this person, you know, or whatever. But so what
it can be really hard to come out at that point.
Yes, absolutely, because we kind of bury ourselves at that point. So here's a little thing. As Ryan was talking, I was like, what do I say after this? You know? And I just wanted to talk a little bit about how do we get our mind in the right mentality in order to do the things that Ryan was talking about, to embrace the awkward, to take a step and just take one action step toward reaching out to another person, or, you know, helping people feel good about themselves, you know, while they're around us, these types of things. And I think one of the best things we can do is we can see people in a different light. When we look at people around us, what do we see? I have to ask myself that all the time, because sometimes I see people as an obstacle. You know, sometimes I see somebody as somebody who's in my way of getting something that I want. I see somebody as, hey, you know, I go to the store and like this person is, you know, I'm trying to check out and this person's standing in line in front of me and they're not paying attention and they're not moving forward fast enough or something, right? And so we look at people in a certain way. Like, I have a tendency, because my personality style, I am introverted and I'm task oriented. So you're either introverted or extroverted, and you're either people oriented or task oriented. So I got both of the closed in on myself personality traits, right? Introverted and not people oriented, task oriented. So in that realm, I naturally tend to objectify people, meaning I see them as things rather than people. And I've had to train myself to think, instead of seeing a person over there as a thing, either in my way or the person who's going to get me the thing I want, like a waiter that comes to the table to serve me at a restaurant, they're the person going to bring me my food, right? And so it's all a functional thing. But instead, if I can flip that switch and think, that is a person, that is an amazing creation. That's a person with hopes and dreams and thoughts and pain and joy and all that stuff mixed into that person. They're a wonder to be around. And I wonder what makes them tick. And we can get little clues. You can get little clues about what makes somebody tick by maybe the clothes they wear. Ryan talked about the pants. Maybe somebody's wearing a shirt that says, "Guns don't kill people, I kill people." You can get a little insight into
Oh my gosh, we had a kid who would always wear the most politically challenging shirts every single day.
Oh,
He just
right.
wanted to get on people's nerves. He would wear them from both sides of whatever, and as long as they were obscene enough not to get him in trouble, but to make people peeved, he would wear it. So this guy, oh my gosh, it's great.
But he's a wonder to experience as well. Whoa,
Yes, he was
what's going
great.
on with that, right? So we could sometimes we just might ask, hey, why do you wear shirts like that? I mean, that's really amazing, rather than
Guts.
just freaking out and being afraid. Wow, that's an interesting shirt. I remember being at the gas station not too long ago, and this guy had his arms covered in tattoos, and he had these piercings in his ears, they were that big around. Probably an inch. He had 1-inch gauge plates in his ears, right? And I was like, man, nice gauges there, man. That's a commitment. Because if he ever took them out, they would never close up.
Mm-hmm.
They'd just be like a floppy loop under his ear, right? So I'm like, man, that's a commitment. And how long did it take you to get those? He was like, oh, I don't know. He explained, I had to upgrade every couple months or something like that, every couple weeks, and just took a while. But now here I am and I love them. I'm like, that's awesome, But when we start to see people as a wonder, because truly they are. Every single one of us. You are. Ryan is. I mean, even I am sometimes. Once
I
in a
wonder
while.
about you, Joe.
I don't. Yeah.
Just kidding.
Yep.
You are a sight to behold.
But if we can start to think of people in that light, rather than in the light of, oh, I wonder what they're going to do to try and manipulate me or hurt me or do something bad to me, because I got bullied a lot in school. And so that was kind of my, I was kind of in this ultra defensive mode all the time, very guarded. and it's still something I fight to this day. But it relieves when I can start thinking about people as, oh, I wonder what makes that person tick. I watched a guy walk out of a movie theater before COVID, right? I was sitting at the movies, and we were just hanging out watching the credits because, it was a Marvel movie, and you know how they always have, in the Marvel movies, they always have some snippet at the end of the credits, right? So you always sit there and wait through the credits, and or you take your kid to the bathroom because they got to go to the bathroom, and then you hurry back to try and get to the end, whatever. But anyway, so we were sitting there, and a guy got up and left, and I just looked at him. He didn't look at me, and my mind just went to, I wonder what he's going through today. Because everybody's going through stuff every day. And it's all different. You know, maybe they got heartburn because they ate, tacos or something. Maybe they have a family member who's sick. Maybe they have, who knows? Everybody's got stuff going on. And when I started to look at people like that, we start to kind of have compassion. And it's beautiful because the key is one of the things Ryan said, and that's we need to take our eyes off ourselves and focus on the other person. Rather than, like what Ryan was talking about, rather than thinking, how am I going to get this person to be impressed by me? How can I show this person that I'm impressed by them? What kinds of things can I say that are going to make them feel like $1 million or maybe $1 billion?
That's even better if you can do that.
Man, totally. It's got a B at the beginning of it.
Better than M.
B for better, right?
Yeah, there you go.
But so anyway, so that's, I don't know, that other than what Ryan said, that was really all I could come up with, because it's just how are we seeing people? And that's a question we can ask ourselves at any time. When I look at people, what do I see? Do I see a thing, or do I see a wonder to behold? And that can make all the difference in our interactions, because then, when someone comes our way, we'll automatically be like, oh, this person is an amazing creation. And we automatically kind of light up a little bit, And if that's the case, then, they'll see that countenance and it'll welcome them. And we might not have to say much of anything. There was a guy, I heard a guy talking about people skills and all this kind of stuff. He says, I'll go to parties and I'll talk to somebody and I'll say, hey, what do you do? Or, hey, how's it going? And they'll be like, hey, well, whatever. And they'll be like, hey, what you up to? Or whatever. And just start talking. And then he used this one word as, oh, really? Why is that? It's kind of a bunch of words all rolled into one word.
Yeah, it's one word. Oh, really? Why is that?
Oh, really? Why is that?
Oh, really? Why is that?
Yeah. And he said it's a multifaceted word. You can say, really? You can say, why? You can say, oh, really? Why? You can say all kinds of stuff. And
that?
Yeah, you
why
can say
is that? Okay.
Yep. And but we can totally do that. And then what happens is they think you're a great conversationalist. They talked for 15 minutes. You said, oh, really? Oh, well, why is that? And you just listened and drew them out. And they loved hanging out with you because they felt great about themselves. Here's a person who cares enough to ask me about me. And it's a wonderful thing. So anyway, I've talked for a while. I'm going to turn it back over to Ryan. Ryan, have at it.
Awesome. Conversing with people isn't the only way we socialize, of course. There's activities and our body language and that kind of thing. And a lot of it comes down to ultimately what Joe's getting at is how do we see that person? And are we treating that person like they matter? If you can look at someone and you can say that person is important at this exact moment, I'm going to give my time and my focus to them. Mm-hmm. People will feel that. Mm-hmm. And that makes for socializing a lot, it makes socializing a lot easier and better. It's really a lot about just loving someone and loving on them in the way that is best suited for that person at that moment. And you'll find many different ways. One thing you said that's kind of interesting, I'm going to go back to, Joe read this over already, but it says, one of my main flaws is I try to change my personality to better fit my friends. And then you did that to a point where you hurt one of your other friends. Something interesting about this is, as human beings, we naturally change our personalities and so on based on our settings and based on who we're around. But there's a degree where we're forcing ourselves to be someone we're not, and there's a degree where we are just being naturally different. If you're naturally different, don't rope that in with being bad or not being yourself. Mm-hmm. You're still yourself. If you're having a good time and around this group of people, you're a little bit more of a jokester, and you're having a lot of fun, and you feel more outgoing. And then around this other group, you seem a little bit more laid back and so on. That's okay. That's just reading the aura of people and getting into that, and that's a good thing. They say one of the best communicating skills is to reflect other people's personality, and not so that you can manipulate them or force yourself to be someone that you're not, but it's in order to make yourself comfortable to them. A phlegmatic is going to feel, sorry, a person who is reserved is going to feel comfortable around another person who's reserved, or outgoing and reserved, introspective and extra, yeah.
Introverted, extroverted.
Introverted. Thank you,
Yes.
thank you. I was like, my brain is not coming up there. A person who's introverted is going to get along easily with another person that's introverted, and you can train yourself to kind of reflect the other person's personality because it makes them feel more comfortable. If you find someone who's really excitable, right? I like to use that word, excitable. When you show something to them, they smile bright easily. They they move around a lot. People who are excitable, if you can get yourself to be excitable with them and to reflect that personality, that can be really good. Now, if you're forcing yourself to be someone that you're not, there's a difference, and I think that difference can tie in easily to our morals. You made a great example here. You said, you are a jerk to your friend. I'm going to tell you something's interesting. I had a group of friends growing up, and occasionally they would make fun of another friend or someone we were not friends with. They would make fun of a person that was like a jerk, that I knew was a jerk, right? And what was amazing is I told them not to, and they listened. Because I stood up for the person they were being a jerk to, and I would be eating lunch, and they would start saying something bad about another person, and I would say, "Hey guys, no, don't do that." And they would basically go, "Okay," and stop. Maybe they put up a little bit of a fight, like, "Dude, that person, blah 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 blah. Why are you sticking up for them?" And then I would just be like, I don't like talking bad about people. And they'll be like, "Okay." It's funny because we're trained in our society today that we have to accept other people's behaviors or they won't like us. But I will tell you, if you tell someone that you're not going to do something because it's wrong to do, you will find more respect than if you agree with them doing something that's bad. If you stand up for something that's right, something that you believe in, people will respect you. They will see you as your own person. If you just follow other people around, you will never get any respect for them. If you change yourself to fit in with them, or if you just follow along with their schemes, whether good or bad, no one will ever have any respect for you because you never identified yourself as your own being. You've trained them to think you're there to follow their lead. And it's hard to give respect to someone when you don't even know what they stand for and you've never seen them stand up for anything. Right? And so it's good, even in your friends, if they're doing something wrong, it's actually good for socializing in the long run. Right at first, they might not like it, but in the long run, that's the sort of stuff, that's the sort of social interaction that makes for a tighter relationship, a lot more respect in the relationship, and makes it just, yeah, I guess just those two things. We'll just say those. It's really, really contrary to what people act out nowadays. Everybody wants to be accepting about the things, everything, like it could be any moral issue. And Christians highly are to blame for this. Christians don't want to upset people because we think that it's wrong to hurt people. but it's not wrong to hurt people. It's wrong to hurt people with the intention of doing damage to them for the sake of hindering them, for the sake of hurting them. But it isn't wrong to cause harm to someone if your intentions are to lead them to a better life, or if your intentions are to avoid doing something like, hey, I'm going to hurt you by saying this remark, but I'm not going to make fun of that person with you. And if you're hurt by that, then that's a good pain, because you know you shouldn't either. Right? And so it's okay to stand up for yourself, and it's okay to stand up for other people you don't even know, or your friends, right? So when it comes to socializing, if you're just acting out what you think other people will like, you will find yourself with no respect, right? Respect comes from understanding an individual and what they believe in and who they are and how they act. And people can't find that out unless you act out those things, unless you are those things. If you're constantly following other people, or, you know, putting on a mask or whatever, then they won't have any respect for you because they don't know who you are, right? But along that same vein, not in contrary, but this is an important thing to hear. I remember people saying, you know, they, like you kind of mentioned this. I think it's right here. You said, okay, most of the time I act really cheerful and even stupid to make them feel better about themselves. I act cheerful and stuff, but a lot of times I'm depressed and not wanting anyone to find out about it. Okay, understandable. You know, when you're going through depression, you really don't need everybody to know. I think it's important to get some people to help you. It's important to talk to people you can trust and have good conversations with them. But here's another thing. It's not weakness to smile, to be cheerful in those situations. That's strength, right? You smile not because you're weak. You smile because you're strong, right? Because you're going through those situations, and even though you might not want to smile, you're choosing to. Why? Well, not just to hide, maybe that's part of it, but the main reason is because you don't want other people around you to be depressed. Because we know as human beings that our feelings, especially the negative ones, rub off on others. You find you have a room of everybody enjoying themselves, and one person, it only takes one person to suddenly have a bad attitude, a bad moment. Something goes wrong, whether it's actually a big deal or it's just this little tiny deal. Like, it doesn't even matter. Like, I don't know. It could be anything, right? It could be silly. And if they have a reaction of like, oh, I'm so angry, or I can't stand this, you know, like, or they get really upset, everybody in the room goes quiet. Everybody in the room just feels that. And it's uncomfortable and no one likes it. To not be that person, because you could be that person, but to choose not to be that person takes strength. So don't discount yourself as wearing a mask because you're weak, okay? Because I know a lot of people have. And I remember talking to a lot of people in my, you know, when I was in high school about that, and they were like, and they told me, like, I'm just wearing a mask. I'm only smiling because, you know, I don't want people to find out. But they would always also include, and I also want other people to be happy. I don't want to bring other people down. And I think that that's appropriate. That's appropriate. So don't discount yourself. Don't use it as a point against yourself. Use it as a point to say, look, I smile because I'm strong. Smile comes from strength. Smiling comes from strength. It does come from joy, but if you can smile when there isn't joy, that's strength. And it's amazing because you can go to a gas station. Joe was talking about an interaction he had with a gas station.
We're always talking about the gas stations.
Yeah, but you can go to a gas station or a market. And now that you don't have to wear masks everywhere, you know, so much, you can go to these places and you can give someone a smile. a stranger, right? You never met them before, you smile at them. What do? They tend to just naturally smile back. Every once in a while, someone won't, but most of the time, you're walking down in the aisle, you see someone, and you just glance at them and you give them they'll wave back and smile. They'll smile at you. So when you smile, you lead other people to joy. So again, don't discount yourself. But yeah, I just wanted to add that because I thought that was an important point.
Mm-hmm.
And all the other things I said too. So
they were all important points, Ryan.
Okay.
Yes.
Awesome. Cool. Yeah, you don't want people worrying about you, said Ash. And yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm. There are problems that people can't solve. And so it's kind of pointless to tell them about it, And it's like, you don't need them to feel upset about something that they have no control over. And they will if you told them. Mm-hmm. So sometimes it's better just to let them be in the dark. And if they ask, then that's an opportunity for a friendship and a possibility to change. But if they don't ask, then it doesn't really matter. Mm-hmm. I think it's fine to keep those kind of secrets. It's natural and it's helpful. But
sure.
Yeah.
Yep. Anyways. It's also good to have close friends that you do confide in.
Yes,
it's also good to have those. Yep, absolutely. And so so you don't always have to be bottled up. Like when you finally gain some trust with somebody who's you would consider a confidant, somebody close that you can trust, that you can share some of that stuff, then absolutely share, because sometimes we just we need to be able to let out some of that, if it's all bound up. Mm-hmm. So yep. So but Ryan's absolutely right. In normal day-to-day living, yes, to put a smile on your face and be to project happiness and joy and love to the world, it's a strong position to have. Mm-hmm. It totally is. And keep in mind, we go through stuff. I've noticed something about struggles. I seem to graduate to harder ones.
Yay! Wait. What?
Like sometimes we think, hey, you know what? Once I get through this, it's going to be easier. And it's like, actually, in my life, now it might work that way for most people. It hasn't worked that way for me. I graduate to a deeper, more painful and harder struggle. But you know what? It's like exercise. You get stronger. You learn to handle more. And through that, it gives you a sphere of relatability with other people, because everybody's going through stuff. Everybody. It's all different. We all have different stuff going on. But we all have something going on, and that can give us a window of compassion to relate, which is great. Because then when we look at people, rather than seeing them as a thing in our way, we can look at somebody with compassion. We can see them as, okay, here's a person that I know is dealing with stuff, because everybody's dealing with stuff. Right? And so how can I be loving? How can I be caring? And the more we do that, the better you're going to get at socializing, for sure. Because then it takes your eyes off yourself. It takes your eyes off your own awkwardness. We all feel awkward. And yeah, that's the way to do it. So anyway.
Yeah, that's a really good point. I just want to touch on that again, because if you have your eyes on you when you're trying to socialize with somebody, it's not going to go well.
Mm-mm. No, we gotta focus really on them. Focus. Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah, if you're trying to socialize with someone and you've got your eyes on yourself and you're worried about what they think of you and what you look like, you've got all of your energy in the wrong side of the fence. Like, it doesn't even make any sense. Like, I'm gonna go up to talk to this person, and then all you can think about is yourself. Like that, of course, that's not gonna go very well. Mm-hmm. So the faster you can let yourself go, and the more you can focus on them, you'll find yourself worrying less and less about yourself. And the less you worry about yourself, the less fears you have, the less nervousness you have, and it all just kind of goes away because your focus is on them, not yourself.
Mhm.
So, yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you, Ash, so much for the topic. It was great. And, this is something that a lot of people struggle with, at least all the introverts and probably a bunch of extroverts too.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
We all run into social awkwardness.
Yeah.
For sure. So anyway, thank you so much. And hopefully some of the stuff we shared helped. Hopefully it kind of, moves you forward a little bit and just understand.
Feel free to watch it again. We talked about a lot. So.
Yep. And understand something. No matter what, we love you. And you're going to mess it up along the way. It's okay.
Yeah.
Because it's a learning experience. Everything's a learning experience. So when you mess it up, you just think, oh, I guess I messed it up. Oh, well. And then, I'll try something different next time. Or maybe it just went bad that time. Maybe that person's having a really bad day and they just want to be left alone. And okay, I'll leave you alone then, buddy. No problem. So, yeah. Aw, you're awesome, Ash. Thank you. Thanks for being here and thanks for the topic. So, but anyway, what do you say we move on, Ryan?
Awesome.
Is that a yes?
Sounds awesome.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Awesome as in no. Wait, what?
Yes. So all right. So we've got a few to do in our topics here. So we've got actually I'll just go down the list. If any of you guys hear your name, let us know you're here. Ian Lam, Pear, Lil McGee, Ezekiel Games, Ploen, Drakon, Lord Francium, Kendra, LG, and Anonymous. Anonymous, if you're here, you do not have to say that you're here because you'll probably want to remain anonymous. But hey, Ivana, how you doing? So yes. Oh, must be. I just got a message from the air. Anonymous is here.
The air.
The air told
spoken.
me.
It said.
It did. And it told me Anonymous was here.
Uh-huh.
So, and
what
then
are you, an air whisperer? You can understand the air.
Yes.
Ah. Nice.
Yeah. So actually, you know what? Yeah, let's do the anonymous one. I think
Cool.
that'd be a good one. It's called Where to Start.
I guess we're starting with this one.
Yep. Let's do that. I think we
I
can
can clear
get
a second
two
one.
more. We can get two more in here. Interesting. I got another message from the air. There's something blurry in my lower left camera corner. Near my name. Something blurry.
The other side.
Down here. Oh, sorry.
I don't know.
Maybe
that side, but towards your camera.
Huh? I don't know. Is it the carpet?
We don't know what you're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, because how else are you gonna solve this problem rather than going, oh, okay. If you don't see it, you don't see it. But there's nothing I can do to point it out other than that.
Yeah, it's probably just the floor.
It also just might be the lighting you have.
Yeah, that could be too.
Who knows?
Either way, it'd be nicer if my face was blurry because I'm a lot better looking when I'm blurry looking.
No, Joe.
You're beautiful. Let's move on.
Yeah. Last time when we did the Don't Worry Wednesday, someone said, someone called Kyle the older version of you. So
really, the older version. Well, he definitely looks. He's definitely wiser.
They meant in looks, but yeah.
Well, I'm perpetually 29, so that's all right.
That's right. That's why.
Yes. So all right. So yeah, let's do anonymous topic. We have a link there in the chat. I'll check it for you guys. Let me just check it. Yep, it's legit.
Awesome.
So, yep, called Where to Start, and you guys can read along with Princess.
Okay, I finally have a light topic to submit. No depression, no body insecurity, no anime, no bread, no coffee, no nothing. So I've been wanting to do something for a while, and that's make a channel for singing. Sure, I have a Star Maker account, but I want to post my own covers of game instrumentals with the lyrics I wrote. I've been practicing on my range and pronunciation for the longest while, and I'm confident in my voice, but I don't know where to start. I write lyrics all the time for instrumentals I like, or Splatoon songs like Into the Light. I just don't know how to edit recordings together or make a channel at all. I also write my own songs, but since I don't know music theory, I don't know where to start on making instrumentals of them. Squid. So I came to you for help, knowing that you've been involved in music since the beginning of time.
Wow.
Sometimes I've wandered from music, but always sent back where I belong. So yeah. P.S. I lied. There's bread and coffee. Unfortunately, my melatonin count is too high and coffee can't help me.
Oh, oof.
Man.
Wow. Well, hey, I appreciate your topic, Anonymous. Excuse me. And yeah, this is something that Ryan and I know a little bit about doing recordings and making music and stuff like that. We've been doing it for a little while. But yeah, it sounds to me like just to let you know, you're on the right track. I mean, you're writing lyrics. That's one of the most difficult things for me to do. And you know, I've been told my lyrics come out well, but they just take a long time.
Same.
You know, so that's that can be a real challenge. So anyway, yeah, this is gonna be a real good topic. So I'm gonna turn over to Ryan right away so he can jump right in. So Ryan,
Okay.
have at it.
Um.
I don't figure you need a whole lot of time to think about what you're gonna say.
Well, you are wrong. I need the world all the time that that the world has to offer
Oh,
to
okay.
figure out what I want to say.
Sorry, let me open my mouth and say some more words then.
Thank you.
There you have it. I just did.
Okay. That was seemed sufficient, huh?
Oh,
Okay.
perfect.
Well, there we go. So that was a little bit less time than I thought I would need. Okay. So you know, first of all, Anonymous, luckily I know from reading this who this is. And you should be confident in your voice. I got the chance to hear you sing, and you did a marvelous job. In fact, I think that's our first interaction with each other was you singing. So, yeah, I think that that's a great idea. Don't be afraid at all to put up a YouTube because you've got a lot of talent here.
Mm-hmm.
And I also really appreciate one of the things you said here. You're working not on your just on your vocal range, but your pronunciation as well. Pronunciation is huge, and I appreciate that you are working on it. I think that there are many vocal talents in the world. A lot of times when I go to church, we have some people who can sing really well, but their pronunciation, their enunciation is really important, and a lot of them don't have it. And what I mean is you're sitting there and you're trying to listen to what they're singing, but you cannot understand what they're singing. And it happens especially to female vocalists. And the reason is because the higher up you go, the less sound your consonances make. Not your S's, but certain sounds like your M's and your N's and close W's and things like that. Positions of your mouth where they're closed or almost closed become indistinguishable the higher you go up, right? And so female vocalists tend to have a hard time when it comes to enunciating and getting their words across clearly. So I think that the fact that you're working on your pronunciation is awesome. Keep that up, because again, that will be another thing that distinguishes you from other singers. and will make you stand out and have people enjoy you. No one enjoys listening to someone where they can't understand what they're saying, unless it's like, hey, I'm listening to a Japanese song and I don't listen to Japanese. That's a different thing, right? You're listening to a Korean song, you don't know Korean, that's fine. A German song, a Polish song, whatever, you're listening to polka, that's all fine. But as soon as you're listening to an English speaker and you can't tell what they're saying and you're trying to, that becomes frustrating.
Yeah, it does.
Burning out the camel bones. So
Yeah.
Sorry. That's an inside joke, but it's not. There's Rocket Man, the song Rocket Man. I think is that what it's called?
Man, burning down a field of camel bones.
Yeah, burning down a field of camel bones. Yeah, that's not what he's saying. Yeah. There's a lot of songs that we don't know what they're saying. Yeah. But it's great. It does add a lot of comedy to it. I used to listen to a lot of power metal songs, and a lot of power metal singers come from Europe, and they don't come from the part of Europe that speaks English. They come from like Norway. And so you have them saying, yes, princess, thank you. You have them, there's a song and he says something in the beginning. We don't know what it is, but it sounds like Canada. And he's like, sings it for like 8 measures long. And
that's great.
Yeah, there are so many songs I learned that I'm literally mumbling non-English to. And I look at the lyrics later and I'm like, this is actually supposed to be English. I had no idea. I thought it was just weird sounds. But anyhow, I think it's great that you're working on your pronunciation. And your range. I think that's super important. That's something that if you're working on that as someone who's young, that's huge, because as you grow older, your range becomes less and less if you don't continue singing. I wish I kept on singing more when I was little, because I don't have that high range available to me as much as I would like it to be, So yeah, I think that's great. So keep on working on your vocals. Keep on spending time with your voice. You don't always have to sing to be working on your vocals. Of course, pronunciation is one thing, but so is vocal effects. Being able to make your voice raspy, do different kinds of voices, make your voice more pop or country or whatever. Make your voice distorted in the many different ways that vocals can be distorted. And it doesn't require you to sing to kind of learn those skills, but you can do them while singing, and I think that is a great thing. One last thing I will tell you about vocals is this: the ultimate thing that sets professional vocals apart from amateur vocals, people who make it big in the industry and get paid to do it, versus people who are really phenomenal singers but don't make any money. One huge difference is attitude. People who you listen to like this, I learned this from artists I wasn't expecting to learn this from. But you listen to Katy Perry and Kesha, right? What do they have? They've got attitude and they sell it, right? You can sing a song perfect, but if you don't have something to catch the ears of people, right? Your vocal talent is almost a waste, because people, if your singing is on pitch always, and it's great, but you don't have attitude, you aren't changing the way that you're singing, right? You aren't whispering sometimes, or singing at the top of your lungs sometimes, and changing it throughout the song, depending on what the song is talking about. If you aren't messing with different vocal ways to express your attitude while singing, if you aren't doing that, then what's going to happen is your listener is going to listen for about 6 seconds and you never change you're on pitch every time and it sounds beautiful. You have a wonderful voice, but they don't hear the attitude. It's like it gets super dull and boring real fast. In the video industry, you have this thing. You change the angle of the camera once every 6 seconds or less.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason is because if you do not, people will get bored and change the channel.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same thing for singing. If you do not change your vocal inflection, your attitude, you don't express that while you're singing, it's like talking to someone in a monotonous voice. They can barely take you seriously, and they will soon lose interest because I'm talking like this the whole time. It's really not that fun. It's fun right now because I'm doing it as a bit. But if I were to do this every single stream, you would get hecka annoyed. So make sure you change your attitude. Like I said, it is one of the biggest things that sets apart the professionals from the amateurs. It's not necessarily being on pitch all the time. It's not how fast you can change from one pitch to another. It's a lot of things that you have to master, but the art of changing your voice, like you're changing the camera shot on a scene, right?
Mm-hmm.
Think of it like that, because that's what's going to capture people. I also learned this from playing an instrument. I played instrument in a band, and during solo ensemble, we were taught to play differently than when we play in band. In band, we play straight, no vibrato, nothing, because our intention is to blend in with everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
But as soon as we did solo on ensembles, meaning we had to basically play by ourselves or play with one accompaniment, which was usually a piano, right? In those settings, they said, hey, forget playing straight. Don't do that. We want you to be extremely expressive, overly expressive with your instrument. And how do you do that? You add in vibratos, you add in crescendos and decrescendos in places where they aren't written. You add in expression. You just try to make the piece come alive. And part of that is bouncing while you're playing. Don't just sit there and play really steady and strict. Like, you're not in marching band, you're not in concert band, you're in solo ensemble. Don't do a jig and dance, but move with your instrument.
Mm.
Get into it. You know, if I was playing saxophone, so that's why I take this shape. But if you're playing the clarinet, you really like swing with it. You put the power into it with your body, right? Solo ensemble is something also that taught me that you need to express your singing, not just sing the notes, but express yourself with that. Mm-hmm. And I know I didn't talk about the topic that you gave, but I said all this because I want you to be and feel successful. And that's the best vocal advice I can ever give. And let me tell you, I started vocal training when I was 19, which is super late. But people recognize me as Static P, the singer, more than they recognize me as Static P, the composer. And it's because of the things I just told you. So take time when you sing something, take time to look through every single phrase and figure out, how am I going to sing that so that that phrase has meaning? Mm-hmm. And then the next phrase has meaning. And the next phrase has meaning. It isn't just something I'm hitting the notes to while I'm saying words. I'm trying to get people to hear the message. So just take that to heart when you go at it and when you start recording yourself. You don't have to do that every single time you sing, but when you start laying down your tracks for recording, really think about that and record multiple times, multiple takes, until you get a take where you're like, yeah, I felt that. I heard that. If you start to cry a little bit while you're singing, embrace it. It is okay to sing and cry and put that out professionally. Mm-hmm. People will hang on that and they will love it. So that's what I got to start with. And I know I talked for quite a while just on that, note, but and I'm sorry to anybody who's not trying to be a professional singer. I hope that was at least entertaining and informational.
It was very
But yeah,
informational for me. Thank you, Ryan.
yeah, you're welcome. Um, so there you go. Take it away, Joe. Now answer the question.
No, no, I really appreciate you going through that. It's funny because I'm working on. I just finished lyrics for one of my newer song for a new song, and I've been practicing it while I drive. I've been practicing, singing it and doing all these things, and I have this one part in there where I have to switch from my regular voice to my falsetto voice, and it has to be really smooth.
Did you know the regular
And
voice is called modal?
modal voice. Okay, yes, my modal voice to my falsetto voice.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
wasn't trying to correct you. I was just
No,
like,
I
that was a
didn't.
weird. I'd always wondered what it was called.
Yeah. Yeah, but at any rate, so it's been like practicing that over and over and over again, like just to kind of get that so it's smooth. And one of the
Yeah.
things, like what Ryan was talking about, the attitude, when you have that in you, all that stuff kind of gets a little bit more natural
Hmm.
because you're not thinking about it. You're not your brain's not on it. So, but anyway, Anonymous, you say that you're confident in your voice and you've been practicing. That's step 1. Great. Take what Ryan was talking about, apply that to your practicing. Take all that and do that. And when it comes to recording and editing and doing all this kind of stuff, right? Sometimes we just have to jump in and start. Now, the cool thing is you know, you're hanging out with us, and there is so much. Like we could not give a recording lesson on Don't Worry Wednesday. Unfortunately, we could
Totally.
try, but there's so much, so much.
The best thing is to just jump into it, like you said.
You just jump in and you just start trying. So what you do, you find a free DAW, digital audio workstation like Audacity or GarageBand or something like that, where you can record into it. There are lots of different ones out there, and you can just grab one, and you can put your background track in, and then you can add a new track, and you can put your vocal track in, and then you can record it directly into your computer. Or if you have a better microphone, you can find a way to hook that microphone to your computer and work with that. But really probably the best thing to do to get started figuring out recording is to start as simple as possible. If you have a laptop with a microphone on it with the webcam or whatever, and that's it, and that's what you got, start there. It won't sound super professional. I mean, because microphones, you want a really good professional mic, you're gonna drop a few $100, at least. But for learning how to record, you could just use your computer. You could use your phone. I think there are workstations, there are DAWs that you can have on your phone, right, Ryan?
Yeah, I think yes, there are there. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so if you have a phone, you can,
I don't know if you have to pay for them though.
Yeah, that's true. There might be some free ones. I don't know. But at any rate, just start there and start just playing around with it. That's one of the best things you can do to get started. Because from there, you're going to learn a few things, and you're going to kind of get your feet wet a little bit, and you're going to mess it up, and it's okay, because you know what? Even once you do it for a really long time and you learn a really lot of stuff, you're going to mess it up. It's okay. There's never any there's never a perfect mix or a perfect recording or a perfect master or any of that stuff. Perfection is not attainable in this world, right? So we just do the best we can. And I learned this from there's a guy he has an online presence called Creative Sound Labs, and he has a YouTube channel, and he's also got a whole bunch of tutorials, and he's got a bunch of courses that he made, and he sells them, and they're really quite cheap for his courses. And he's running sales all the time, so you can get some of these courses for like $9 or $18 or whatever, right? But Creative Sound Labs, and this guy, he's an audio guy, and I learned this from him because for most of my life in doing audio engineering, I'd always be looking for the ideal. Like, I'm going to do this the best. I got to find that perfect way of mixing it and compressing it, do everything just right. And this guy basically said, no, don't worry about that. You be you. As an audio engineer, you are an artist. As a singer, you're an artist. Right? I mean, that's a little bit easier. That's an easier connection to make, We think of, a singer, of course they're an artist. Right? They're a musician. That's a form of art. But this guy, and I always looked at audio, the mixing and the mastering and the audio work and the recording and all that kind of stuff as a science, and there was an ideal way to have it done. And you needed to find that formula and do it that way, or else it wasn't going to be as good, right? But he totally trashed that mindset that I had by saying, no, as an audio guy, you are an artist. And you bring something special in your mix and in the way you record and in your mic selection and in all the different ways, your mic placement, all those different things that make a recording, all those different things have an impact one way or another. The way you do that is unique to you, and it's your signature. And it's your art. And so you bring something to the table too. You bring an art form to the table that's uniquely yours. But now, for you, Anonymous, you're getting started. The best thing you can do is just start playing in that world. Have fun. It might seem scary, but the first step is find a DAW, Digital Audio Workstation, DAW. And that could be Audacity, GarageBand. Those are the two free ones I can think of off the top of my head. Is Reaper free?
Yeah.
Okay. That's another one. But find one that looks cool to you or whatever.
There's a couple more, but some of them, Reaper and a couple of other ones, they can be really complex to get started on. But
okay. I know a lot of people use Audacity.
Yeah, Audacity is simple. It's one of the
pretty simple.
Yeah, it's really simple. It doesn't do all the functionality if you're trying to create a song, but if you're trying to record stuff and just get your vocals down and stuff like that, I think that's a good place to start.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I know GarageBand has a pretty good user interface too.
Yeah.
My kids they had their school iPads. They had GarageBand on their school iPads.
It's a Mac thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I think GarageBand is Mac exclusive. I don't know if they've opened up to Windows.
Maybe. But yeah. Oh, thanks for the link for Creative Sound Lab, Princess. Yeah, you can check out his YouTube channel. He's got little cool tips and all that kind of stuff, on all of his YouTube videos on different things you can do. But you don't have to get crazy because a lot of that stuff's going to require a little bit of equipment, But you don't have to drop a whole lot of money at first to get started. You can just start playing. Sing into whatever microphone you have. If you've got your phone microphone or your computer microphone, start there and just start and see where it takes you. And keep coming back. You can hang out there. There are a lot of people that do stuff like this. If you go to the Static P Friends Discord, there are a lot of musicians and a lot of people who do audio work.
Yeah, I don't know if Raka's still here, but he's doing some.
Mm-hmm.
Jono's doing some. There's quite a few people.
Mm-hmm.
There's more than that. But...
Mm-hmm.
Yep. There's Raka.
Hey, reminds me I want to buy a kazoo. Me too.
Nice.
But anyway, hopefully that's helpful. Ryan, did you have anything else?
Sure. You know, ultimately, the best thing, like Joe was saying, the best thing you do is get yourself a DAW and jump into it. Don't worry too much about reading other people's guides and all that kind of stuff right now, because music development, production, etc., is a very huge thing.
Huge.
Huge. And the
Oh my
thing is,
gosh.
what I'm saying is, it's limitless. Joe and I are still learning things.
Mm?
Okay, and we've been in it. And I quote, since the beginning of time. So,
We've watched it from its very beginnings.
since God birthed it into the world, I've been involved with it. Watched it grow up into a stick. Called that stick music. So you take a tree branch and you chuck it at another tree branch.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, don't worry about trying to learn everything. More so, learn what's enjoyable for you to learn. When I started writing music on the piano first. And I would write little memories or little songs I would try to remember. One day, someone came along and gave me a program called Tabit. It was made and developed for guitar players to write down the notes. And it would play these notes out in something called MIDI, and it was the worst possible thing. Like, it was like, geez, if you've ever played the Super Nintendo Entertainment System or an Atari, it's beep boop noises, all right? And it would play them out. But it opened up my universe because I could write in it. And I was writing in a style of music that I had learned sheet music, where you have the 5 lines and you put, the notes on them. You got a quarter note, eighth note, etc. And no, this was Tabit, and they just had O's and X's, and the O's said play the note, X was to stop playing the note. And it was on not 5 bars, but like 6, because it was a 6-string guitar.
Mm-hmm.
And so I learned completely how to write on this foreign concept just by listening with my ear and putting the notes down and going, nope, that's not it. Next one. Nope, that's not it. Next one. That's it. All right. And then play, stop there. Okay. Pause. Press that button. Stop it right there. Is that right? Play. No. All right. Stop. Move that X over here. Just like, and that's what I did. And soon enough, I was not even needing to play it anymore to know exactly what I was doing. I didn't need to play the note and go, nope, that's not it, and move it down one. Is that it? Nope. Go down one. Is that it? There we go. No longer did I have to do that. Or mostly it was like you pressed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 because you were like telling it which fret to be on for that string. So anyways, it was this really weird system. And I started writing songs on it. And I learned to write using that weird program. Then one day came along where a new program was introduced to me. And I opened that up. And it was weird. And I didn't understand it at first, but I just dove into it. And as I spent time with it, I started to learn, and I got better and better at it. And then soon enough, I had produced a song that didn't sound terrible, but it still wasn't amazing. And then finally I got Cubase, which is what we're using now. Mm-hmm. And at that point, I'd already written a few songs in the other program, and quite a few like a lot of songs on Tabit. And so then when I got Cubase, I was like, okay, new program, let's learn it. And it opened up my world to all sorts of new stuff. Mm-hmm. And then, like, as I was writing the songs down, then I was like, oh, hey, by the way, there's this thing called mixing. It will make your music sound better. And then I learned about that, and mastering. Mm-hmm. I learned those from Joe. And it's you take one step at a time. So that was my musical journey. And it was all about jumping in and experiencing it, mm-hmm. and learning how to do it and just playing around. You open up a program for the first time, you're like, okay, I don't even know what I'm doing. How do I get a sound to even come out of this? And you click on like 400 different things, and finally something appears, and you got something, and you press it, and it makes a sound, and you're like, yes, you made a sound with the computer.
Yeah.
And then you learn how to like organize the notes in the right sequence and distance from each other. And that makes a song. And you're like, I'm doing it. I'm making a song. So now that's working with MIDI. Obviously, if you're recording, it's a different process. You just press the record button and you play your instrument, guitar, singing, etc. And it records you. And then you have to look at it and see, is this in time with the music? Where is it broken? You learn how to splice it and move it around and all this kind of stuff. So if you're planning on recording to music that already exists, I would start with Audacity. Simple program that does that exactly. It doesn't do a whole lot else. It does do some mixing stuff now. They've upgraded their program to do that.
Okay.
But mostly it just records, and you can import music into it and export music out of it. And so it'll allow you to start going down that road. And then eventually you'll be like, well, this isn't enough. I want to be able to write music. So then you're going to find yourself a new program, a different kind of digital audio workstation.
Probably not Tablet.
But anyhow. Yeah, probably not. No, definitely not Tablet. That's Tablet. Tablet is not going to help you. It will send you in the wrong direction.
Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously uses Audacity for school. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool. I don't know what you're doing. What are you doing for school that you use Audacity for? That's really interesting. But anyways, it's basically just, if you're interested and you're passionate, jump right in and just start playing around with stuff. You're not going to hurt anything.
Yeah.
You're not going to hurt anything.
Don't be afraid don't be afraid you're going to break it or something. Don't be afraid to have it be a big mess or whatever, because you can always just delete. You
can just delete what you made.
Yep.
And be like, well, that was a screw up.
Yeah, especially when you're getting started like this. I mean, now at this point, for projects that Ryan and I are working on, it's like now we've got lots of different plugins and processes and all kinds of stuff going in. So it's like, yeah, we don't really want to delete that if we can help it,
Yeah.
But
I don't delete anything anymore. But when I first started out, everything was terrible that I wrote. So if you write your first piece and you're like, wow, I don't like this, you are right in line with the rest of us, including Beethoven. All right. So don't worry if your first piece doesn't appeal to yourself. It probably doesn't appeal to a whole lot of other people either. And it's your first piece. It takes a lot of work and time. So the more time you get into it, the more time you put into it, the better your stuff's going to be. Period. It's just like doing anything in life. You spend time doing it, you're going to get better.
You will.
So don't ever be put off by a piece that you write. Because worst case scenario, you take that piece and you throw it into the trash can and you start writing a next piece. That's it. So don't worry about it, So yeah, that's what I got.
It's pretty crazy. I love Bitzel says for sound waves and other stuff. That's pretty cool. I always loved being able to zero in on the sound waves. Like when you can look, and then you can like actually you find where it crosses the 0 point, and so then you can cut it right there where it's at, where the sound wave is at the 0 at the silent part, and then you can make your edit and splice it in. Seriously, I'm old. When I first started learning audio, we had reel-to-reel tape. And what we'd have to do to find places, like this was part of our testing and our coursework in these audio courses that I did. And it was, okay, you'd take your audio tape, and we needed to edit out a certain section of somebody talking. And so you'd play it and you'd get to that point, and then you'd stop it and then rock the reels. So you'd just like turn them by hand and then get them to the point, and you look at your little meter thing that said when there was sound. And as soon as it was sound in that one spot between sound and silence, you marked your tape right there. And then you'd find your other spot, and you do the same process. Play till you got there, and then stop. And then manually by hand until you get to that point where there's...
Yeah, it makes that cool sound.
And then you mark the tape, and then you take your tape and you loosen the reels, and the tape comes down on this block, and you take a razor blade and you cut the tape. And then you grab the other spot and you cut the other part, and then you take it together and you take this stuff called splicing tape. You'd splice them together. And that was it. And that was how we would do editing. Now it's just like find a spot on the sound wave, click it. Oh, man. It's brilliant. It's
the
brilliant.
manual work is so much less. It's a click, another click, and then a drag.
Yeah, that's it, man. That's it.
Like you might have to reach your finger to the delete button.
That's right.
You know? Oh no!
Right.
All the way across the whole keyboard.
This was manual. It was crazy. I was like, wow, you know. And then when the digital world came in, I was like, this is so much better. I love this. But anyway, so Anonymous, that's not really here nor there. The whole point is just get started.
Yeah,
and have fun. Just get started and have fun. When it comes to video, start making videos with your phone camera or whatever, you know. I mean, if you have a webcam or whatever, just start playing. And from there, you're going to start to develop what's most important. Because all the technical skill, all the technical ability, all the recording, you can either learn it or you can find somebody that knows it and that will help you, right? And you might have to pay them, but, you know, who knows, right? But all the technical stuff, all that's available and it's out there to be learned. But what's most important is what Ryan was talking about in the very beginning, and that's attitude. You're going to find your expression in video, in audio, in your singing, in all of that stuff. You're going to find yourself, how you express yourself. You're going to find that when you're playing around and having fun. And just, hey, you're in it and do it. And that's the most important part. Because that's what brings what's unique to you to the table. So if you wanted to do recordings and you wanted to make videos and you want to do all that stuff, all the technical knowledge is out there and it's available. But most important is your presence in all of it. Who you are in all of it. Are you bringing the real you, Anonymous, to the table? And I'll tell you, you start playing around with this stuff and just having fun, going through frustrating moments sometimes when it's like, I can't figure this stupid thing out, you know. And
oh man, lots of that. Why can't I hear the vocals?
What is wrong with this?
They're like up 12 decibels compared to everything, and I still can't hear them.
Yep.
What are you talking about? The bass is getting in the way of the vocals. Doesn't even make sense.
It's how it is.
They're not even in the same range.
It's how it is.
But they are. I just muted the bass, and now I can hear the vocals. So angry.
Yep.
You're gonna run into that.
First project me and Ryan did together, we did a lot of Skyping back and forth. And Skype had this cool feature that if you mashed on your keyboard, it would like break a pencil.
It would show the pencil breaking.
And we would do that all the time. Like,
stick a face in the way of my vocals.
But just understand, when you're going through those times that are frustrating, you're building a story. You're developing a story. And it's fun. And it's going to be great. But yeah, the best thing I can tell you to do is just start playing. So many things are going to happen. You're going to learn as you go. You're going to learn more there because you're having fun with it and you're just spending time there.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't say this again enough, and that is you will find your unique voice, your unique style, your unique presence, your unique attitude will be found when you're enjoying yourself and having fun and doing it. And like Ryan said, that's the most important thing you can bring if you're going to do any type of production work. Absolutely. So yeah, just get in, just jump in and start playing and having a good time and trying. And then, you know, hit up some of us, you know, you can hit us up. I'm in the Static P Friends Discord once in a while, you know, you can feel free to DM me if you have a question, you know, whatever.
Yep, feel free to DM me too.
Yep. And if you run into a snag and you're like, hey, well, I'm just trying to figure this out, I'm working with this and this is what I'm seeing, yeah, just shoot me a message. I'll
Or you
get
can hit up
back to you.
Raka. Raka will tell you what's up.
Yep.
He's doing some good work on his
He
side.
wants to work on music instead of sleeping.
Yeah.
Sleep is for the weak. No, actually, it's not.
No, it is. Sleep is for the weak. The reason we sleep is because we become weak without it. So obviously it is for the weak, and that's everybody.
Yeah.
At a certain point, you don't sleep for long enough, you become the weak, and you need it.
Yeah.
Right.
That's right. That's
so
right.
sleep
Yep.
is for the weak. That's everyone.
Yep. I mean, I'm pretty easy to find on Discord. Joe Anderson. What's my number? I don't even. What is my number?
6992.
6992. I should.
Mine's a
have
really
that
nice
memorized by now.
number. My number looks like I paid to get it, because you can do that. You can pay Discord for a specific number. I did not. That's the number it gave me when I signed up. I was like, dang, I got lucky. Number 4545.
4545. Man, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Yep. So feel free. Yep. Just get in touch if you got a question. We'd be happy to help you. But the best thing you can do is just get started and get playing in there. That'll be great. So.
Yep.
Anyway.
Awesome. Well, we wanted to do one more, but it looks like we are at our point here.
I think we're getting
Tipping
close
point.
to out of time here. Yeah, we got 9 minutes left. So,
Thanks, Princess.
that would be probably a little too short of a time to do a topic justice. So, I
sorry for carrying on,
apologize.
guys.
Yeah, but man, I tell you, it sure was fun.
Today was story day.
Yeah, it was story day. Well, we handled some pretty important stuff. We handled the social turmoil, the social awkwardness, all that stuff. I mean, that's so huge. And then
Yeah.
you
Big
get us
stuff.
talking about music creation and audio, and all bets are off.
Yeah, that was on you, Anonymous. Shame on you. You had us going on it,
Yes. Yes. Oh, Raka put his on there too. Raka is a person to ask about music stuff as well. He's a musician. He makes music and produces it and everything. And
Yeah.
yes, because Raka is awesome.
Absolutely.
He's
He's doing great. He is actually doing really good. Raka, you need to give me more of your stuff.
Yes. Actually, yeah. I checked out your YouTube not that long ago. You had just released something and it was really cool.
Oh, did he? I haven't even checked out his YouTube. And Raka, you have a YouTube? Why didn't
Yeah,
you tell
he's
me,
got a
man?
YouTube.
Fool? Get in on this, man. I'm trying to have like an open friendship with you, and you're hiding your YouTube from me. What?
Yeah.
You should be ashamed of yourself.
There it is. Hey, you got a link now. Click the link in the
Oh,
chat.
I can't click that.
Yeah, you can. Click it.
No, that's not from
I'm
Raka.
clicking
What
it.
if Raka didn't want to share it with me? I can't click that.
Oh, Princess has permission.
Princess has permission to give it, but I don't have permission to click it. You know what I'm saying?
All
Like
right.
if someone gives me information about someone that they weren't supposed to share with me, I'm gonna do my very best to close my ears.
Yeah, he just released something a week ago.
Wow. Nice, man.
Yeah, I'm looking at his channel right now.
Yeah, you need permission to click it. If Raka didn't send it, you're gonna have to. And anybody who clicked that other link that was to that weird or whatever channel that was,
Tetsukin Z.
yeah, Tetsukin Z. If anyone clicked on
Yes.
that, Princess did not have permission to share that. So shame on you guys. Shame on you.
Could someone
You
link
have
the
my
Discord?
permission.
You
Click
are
away.
not the owner of that channel.
I have been given permission by the owner of that channel,
No,
not
you have
your
not.
channel.
Boo.
Did I
Not
give you
yours.
permission?
By
No,
Raka.
Raka's. I'm saying for Raka's.
Yeah, 'cause he can't-
I
can't
post a
I
link
thought
'cause
you
he's
meant the
not a mod.
Tetsukin Z guy.
No, I didn't get
Whoever
permission
that
from
is.
Tetsukin
Yeah,
Z.
everybody
I just
has-
coveted it anyways.
Wow.
Um,
Shame on us all.
Can someone link the Discord? Zerialex says, can someone
I
link
have,
the
and I
Discord?
will do it again. No
Yes,
worries.
please. That's the Static P Friends Discord, I'm guessing.
Yes.
Yeah, yeah. That's
Oh,
a
Raka
lively.
gave me
that's
pressure.
a,
Thank
that's
you,
a
Raka.
lively, wonderful place to be.
No, he gave it to Stat.
Oh shoot, I'm not stat. I almost clicked on that link too. Phew, thanks for saving me. Oh my gosh, he would have been so appalled. He would have been mad at me for weeks.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So if you go to Discord, yeah, there's all kinds of great stuff in the Static P Friends Discord server. There's wonderful areas. What's each one of those little areas? Is it a channel?
Yep. They're
Okay.
channels.
Those are channels. All right. Yep. So there's a lot of cool channels in there. People talking about all kinds of different stuff, and then there's also there's links to the Black Static and Swerve Minecraft servers. We have Java and Bedrock. However, they have not been updated to the 1.17 update yet. Hopefully tonight, we'll get that update taken care of. But yeah. So anyway, cool. I don't know what else. What else? Did I miss something?
We don't have anything to promote, I suppose.
Yeah.
But when you join the Discord, please read the lovely message by the bot and please respond to us. We want to hear from you. We love you.
Yes.
And we want to know that you have read the rules.
Yes. There are rules.
Not that you will obey them, but that you've read them.
Well, by reading them in there, you're subject to
It says
obey
in
them.
there. Yes.
Oh,
exactly.
okay.
It says it in
Yes.
there. That's
Because-
By
why.
reading these
Oh.
rules, you accept it, and you're like, well, I gotta close my eyes. I don't want to accept anything I don't know. But when you read them, you automatically are forced to accept them. So
Well, I guess nobody's forced to do anything, but also nobody's forced to stay on the server.
yeah, we one of the rules is we can decide to get rid of you at any point in time for any reason. Right?
But we don't,
But we don't.
unless there's a rule breakage.
Yeah.
And by that, usually a lot of rule breakage.
Yeah, it's usually
And
more than one.
Yeah, it takes
but-
a consistent
It doesn't
effort.
mean that
Pretty
you're off the
nice.
hook for doing it, but we are
Yeah.
understanding people that will work with you.
Yeah,
Yes.
because sometimes it just happens on accident.
And I say we like I'm part of the mods. I'm not. I'm just a good
Me
kid.
neither. Me
You
neither.
know,
You
like,
both say the royal
I
we, but really
know.
I know it's I and
It's
the other members of the mod team.
Princess, and there's a whole bunch of mods.
Senna?
And Senna.
It used to be
and
me. It
Marco
used to be me, but-
and
Yes.
Haley, and there's a bunch, and they're all so wonderful.
Yeah.
So wonderful. Like, these are the nicest people. Like, some mods in some servers, man, I can see, they're like, me, but our mods.
Mods
And
are
what's
great.
with me having a
mods, that's-
chainsaw? Everyone says that I have a chainsaw, or they just imagine me having a chainsaw. Like
I
a
don't know
mod
anything
do,
about
do
this.
you have
chainsaw.
do you have a chainsaw?
Apparently.
Oh.
If you're a mod, shouldn't you have a band hammer?
Apparently mine is a chainsaw instead of a band hammer.
How did that happen?
Ray, I think, is the most adept way to put it.
Yes.
But apparently
Ray did
everyone
this
just
to
has
you.
the same mindset. I don't know. Maybe
Huh.
he's telepathically sending it to everyone.
Yep.
That's
And you're
all.
right, Soule. Soule says I'm a mod on the Minecraft Java. I am. I'm also a mod on the Minecraft Bedrock.
Hmm
I'm a mod
Yeah,
on
are you a mod on the
both those.
forums too?
No.
Oh.
Oh wait.
I thought you were.
Yeah, you are.
On the Black Static and Swerve
Yeah.
the BSS.studio forums? Yes.
Yeah.
I'm a mod there.
There you go.
That was the first place I was ever a mod in ever my whole life.
There you are.
I was like
Nice.
so excited. I'm like, I'm a mod. And then Jesse, who's the admin, he's like, don't be abusing it.
And then
Don't
he
That's
what you
always
subsequently chooses to abuse it over 9,000.
Luckily, there's not many ways you can abuse the forum.
That's right.
Yeah, but you're right. Then he immediately abuses it himself. He's like, "Yeah, I've got over 9,000 posts on our first day.
Yep.
You can't find a single post from me, but I've written it." So I have this.
Yeah, this is funny.
They're great.
So it says I'm a mod on the Minecraft Java, and I'm so responsible that I put down the band hammer, the sign of power. That was by accident. Did you guys hear the band hammer story?
Mm-mm.
So I got this gift from the other mods on Minecraft, and they were like, "You're the only one responsible enough to use this." It was a dark oak sign that was enchanted like a weapon. It had like knockback and fire aspect and looting and everything on there. All of them were at level 255.
Okay. Yeah,
Right?
Max.
So I could go up to a cow and I could hit it with this thing, and it would light on fire and die immediately. And I would
And its whole career.
and I would get like a stack and a half of cooked beef and a stack and a half of leather off of one cow, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so so now I'm down in a cave and I'm like mining because that's what I love to do. I love to mine, right? So I'm down in there, and I run into all these mobs. And I'm like, oh my gosh, skeletons and, zombies and stuff. And so I get out the banhammer, right?
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, bam, bam, bam. And I'm like, yeah, kill them all. And I was holding torches in my offhand.
Uh-huh.
And I'm just getting used to this offhand thing where I can mine, I can use my pickaxe and mine with my left click. And then when it gets too dark, I can just right click and it puts a torch
Right-click,
down.
yeah,
I don't have to
easy.
do anything, right? It's super simple, right? So then I have the banhammer and it's a sign. And I banhammer these mobs. And I'm like, oh no, it's dark. So I right click. And I placed the sign.
Oh.
And it took all the enchantments off of it. It was just a
Ah.
regular dark oak
Aw.
sign. And I was like, man. That was the first day I had it.
Bummer.
Well, it's also the last day you had it.
What's that?
The first and the last day you had
First
it.
day,
Yeah.
the last day I had it. That's right. But you know what? They made me a new one. So that was
Aw,
nice.
That's sweet.
Oh, there we go. Knockback, fire aspect, looting, Bane of Arthropods, sharpness, and a few others. All level 255.
That's awesome.
Amazing. I'm sorry, guys. Oh, it was a fun story, though.
Well, with lovely fun story time over, we should end the stream for today.
Yes, we should.
Yeah.
So
Tis past time.
it is. Thank you guys so much for joining us on Don't Worry Wednesday. Go to
Thanks.
Static P Friends Discord, hang out, whatever. We will see you next week right here on Don't Worry
Mhm.
Wednesday.
That's right.
You guys have a great night.
Bye-bye. We love you guys. Peace.
Bye.